Hello everyone and welcome to yet another recreation programming session with Mr. Zozin as usual. So today I would like to try to tackle an unsolved computer science problem. And that problem is a file dialogs. Things like open file dialogs or save file dialogs. You know, the things when you like press Control O and you try to open a file, for example, in the browser, and this kind of thing pops up, lets you just like select a file on your computer and just like open it. Making that in a cross-platform manner in a native application is literally an unsolved computer science problem, and I'm not even fucking joking. Right, so on Windows, like it's pretty straightforward. If you only support Windows, you just use WinAPI. Right, WinAPI just has a function, I think it's just like dialog or whatever, I don't freaking remember, and it just like opens this thing for you. On macOS is going to be different, and Linux is going to be different, and you may think that, okay, so you just making some sort of an abstraction over all of these things, right? So which is just one function, open file dialog, and it just depending on the operating system, it will just call to different API and stuff like that, and call it a day. And that kind of works for operating systems like Windows and macOS. But the problem starts to come in when you talk about Linux. Linux is not really an operating system of its own. Linux is just a kernel, and there's different distros that pack the kernel with different sets of software and different combination of software. And all of the software solves the same problem differently, so there's no universal solution on Linux. Right, for example, in here, as far as I know, I just opened the dialog of Firefox, right? So this is Firefox, and it uses GTK, and it opened GTK dialog. So I may open a different application, for example, Krita, which is a Photoshop clone, and it uses KDE, right? So it uses KDE library, and it's part of the KDE project. And if I try to open, the dialog looks completely freaking different, right? So this is two different applications on Linux using different frameworks, using two different GUI frameworks, and open file dialogs are completely fucking different on the same operating system. On the same freaking operating system. And furthermore, okay, so this one uses KDE, which uses Qt, right? So, and we can open another Qt application, which is a SQLite browser, but this uses a different version of Qt. And because it's a different version of Qt, it looks different, even though this is Qt and this is Qt, but they look different because it's a different version. I think on top of that, this is like a KDE kind of version of Qt or something. It's a freaking madness. For fuck's sake. Right, and imagine you're trying to ship a cross-platform native application, right? And we have such application, right? So you probably heard about Musializer, this kind of thing. So this is the application that we develop in. It's kind of on pause, right? It's not abandoned. It's, don't you fucking dare saying it's abandoned. None of my projects are abandoned. If I'm not developing it currently, actively, it's just on pause. I have a limited amount of resources. I'm not a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I'm just a single person, just a single nerd on the internet. Okay, I have a lot of things. It's on pause. Okay? So, and it kind of was on pause, right? So, and recently we were talking about open file dialogs in different other projects that we looked into, like for example Subchat, right? So that edit cools, subtitles in the form of a chat that you can see right now if you enable subtitles in a YouTube video, right? And it also was trying to solve this kind of problem, and I thought, I kind of remember having the same kind of problems in Musializer, and Musializer is a native application that allows you to visualize some music. Right, so let's actually take a look at that. Let's take a look at this entire thing. So I'm gonna actually start this entire stuff and build Musializer. So this is how it looks like. It's a native application. This is not an Electron, this is not a browser, this is a straight up native application. So, and how you work with it, you need to give it some music file. So let's actually find some music. So let's actually use news track. And I hope this thing is not gonna crash, because I remember it crashed on me Yeah, there we go. So this is how it looks like, and it's just playing the music, and it's also visualizing like with different frequencies and stuff like that. And one cool thing about this thing is that you can now render it into a final video. It uses FFmpeg. Yes, it is FFmpeg wrapper. I'm saying that out loud. FFmpeg Twitter, please don't cancel me. I admit that I didn't develop that myself. I'm just wrapping around in FFmpeg, but this is a free application. I don't charge any money for that. So anyway, right, so, and we don't have any open file dialogues because, again, it is an unsolved computer science problem. The way you're supposed to work with this application, you just drag and drop things around, right? So you just drag and drop them. That's how you do that. And so people said that it's not particularly convenient sometimes, right? So, and because open file dialog is so difficult, I never really implemented that. But I think the time has come to finally look into that. Finally look into how you add open file dialog in the cross-platform manner, because this application is supposed to be cross-platform. It's supposed to work on Windows, on Linux, on Mac OS, and so on and so forth. Right, so here's the thing. As already said, one way you can solve that is by creating some sort of an abstraction layer with a single function open file dialog, and depending on the operating system, it's just different things. People already done that, and not a single time. They've done it multiple times. There is a lot of different libraries that try to solve this unsolved computer science problem. Right, so let's actually take a look at them. Throughout my sessions, right, we encountered, I think, at least 3 of them. I can think about like at least 3 of them. Some time ago, somebody submitted a pull request trying to add open file dialogs to Musializer, and I kind of never really merged it because like I wasn't sure how exactly I want to approach that. Like I wasn't sure, so they kind of suggested, okay, so this is how we can do that, but I didn't want to merge it, so we eventually closed it. I don't remember exactly what was the justification, but we eventually closed it anyway. And they used a library called SFD, right? So it's a simple file dialog. I think it's the simplest library of them. It's called a small C library for opening file dialogs, a simple file dialog, right? It's probably the simplest of them all. Right, so we can take a look into that. So let me see. So again, it's just like literally, it's even just like 3 functions: open dialog, save dialog, and just like get error if an error has occurred in any of these functions. Then for different operating system, how does it even approach that? So yeah, on Windows, as you can see, it uses WinAPI. So let's take a look at, yeah. So on Linux, it uses Zenity. And Zenity is a very interesting approach to open file dialog problem, right? So usually you add open file dialog on Linux by using one of the functions that come with JTK or with Qt or something like that. But there is a thing called Zenity, and it's actually an executable. It's not a library which you link with or anything. It's literally an executable, right? And it has different parameters, right? So, and essentially it's a separate program that opens up the dialog that you want. For example, it has more than just like open file or save file, right? So for example, here's the open file selection, right? So it literally opens up file selection dialog for you, implemented in JTK and stuff like that. You implement the file, and then it prints the file path in the standard output. So you're supposed to just run it, establish a pipe to this application, and wait until it finishes, and just get this string and just use it, right? So that's one way to do that on Linux, right? So without linking with anything. Unix philosophy, exactly, Unix philosophy. But it has a lot more different things. For example, it has a calendar, for instance. Right, so you can pick a date, right? So just like, and okay, and it just gives you a date. So you can bet that in your application, for instance. So there's some sort of a, I don't know, is there a caller? Is there like, okay, so there's a caller selection, like a caller picker. Okay, so I can pick a caller, right? So it's just like, it's kind of funny, right? So, and it gives you a caller in RGB, and you can just use it in your application. But here's the thing, it has to be installed in a system. This is actually fine. I agree. This is kind of a cool approach, but it has to be installed. Like the user must install it with the package manager and stuff like that. And that's the main problem in here. What if I give you an executable from an application, you open it on a Linux where it's not installed? How do I use it then? Like, do I have to report to the user, please install Zenity? This is just like a really bad user experience, in my opinion. It's a really bad user experience, right? And as SFD, I think on Linux, it only offers the Zenity approach, right? And as far as I know, like I didn't see macOS in here at all. Yeah, there's no macOS at all. So it's only Windows and Zenity. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's kind of a weird thing. So another library that we encountered while, for example, working with Subchat is NFD, native file dialog. It tries to implement like a similar idea in here. Right, so here's a native, this is a Subchat, and for the Subchat, so here we have a native file dialog. And okay, so it supports more things, right? But then it links with GTK. It doesn't use Zenity, but it links with GTK, right? Which automatically makes your application a GTK application on Linux. And you're going to be suffering with the same problems as Subchat. Subchat uses IMGUI for the GUI, so you would expect that it's going to be lightweight GUI application, but then it all of a sudden links with GTK on Linux. Excuse me? It was just like, I thought it's an IMGUI application. IMGUI application is supposed to be lightweight and depend only on OpenGL and render with. Why do you link with GTK? If you link with GTK, just use GTK entirely. But no, we're linking with GTK specifically for the open file dialog. Right. It's not visible on Windows because on Windows that native file dialog is going to be using the Windows API. So on Windows it's going to be lightweight. But on Linux, it is going to actually link with that slope specifically for that goddamn open file dialog. Bro, I'm telling you, this is unsolved computer science problem. Right. So like people went insane trying to resolve that. You thought like there is a madness in web standards? Open file dialogs. Dude, I would never expect such a madness in such a freaking simple task of opening a file dialog. Can we just have cross-platform file dialogs in 2025? For fuck's sake. It's not possible at all. Just use Haiku. Like, I mean, you sound like that XKCD 14 standards, right? So it's just like, oh, just like use that thing, but now it's just yet another standard that we have to support. Haiku is just yet another translation unit for that library to be added in. Just using a different operating system doesn't solve the problem. In fact, it only makes it worse. It's just more translation units to this thing. So you just don't realize how fucking bad all of that is. Use Electron. It's just like we're trying to combat the slope with more slope. Nice one. So yeah, simple file dialogs depend on Zenity and nothing else, right? So and Zenity has to be installed. So I don't know, it would be kind of cool if I could ship Zenity with my application, but that means I'm shipping an executable that also links with GTK. So it's still shipping with a slope. I don't know. But then at some point we looked into Raylib Project Creator. Right, we looked into Raylib Project Creator, and it also has its own solution. It uses tiny file dialogs. Right, as you can see, there's a lot of things like simple file dialogs, native file dialogs, and tiny file dialogs. Right, so there's a shit ton of file dialogs, and everybody's trying to solve this problem in their own way. So it's a madness, right? So it's a madness. Or maybe some people can say, oh, it's a free market of libraries. Don't worry about it. This is how capitalism works, right? So having a standardized way of doing things is just communism. You don't fucking understand it. Okay. So, and tiny file dialogs, I think it kind of does a very interesting thing. So I don't remember how exactly it worked, but let's actually take a look at that. I think it does use Zenity, but it also tries to check if it is available. I think that's one of the things it tries to do, right? It tries to check whether it's available or not. We need to take a look into that. So, like, I don't want to take the tiny file dialogs from Rayleap. I think I want to download them from their official website. So far, I think tiny file dialogs is the library that I want to use in Musializer. All right, but I'm not sure 100%, right? So, and because of that, I want to do a session and explore this library a little bit deeper. If I download it, of course, because it doesn't seem to be downloadable, because it probably bans my IP. As fucking, oh no, look at that, look, it's official. Where's my Booma? Look at that, it's official. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's real. It managed to load the header. It managed to load the header, but it cannot load everything else. Source Forge still, I think, yeah, I'm like, imagine that. I was surprised too. Finally, it loaded up. A huge download button. Do I dare click this button? Is that the real button? Real download button? I don't fucking know. Is it? Doesn't look like a real download button. But maybe it is. So let's download it. Is it gonna open shit ton of other windows or something like that? So it starts downloading in a couple of seconds. Okay. Is it download? It is fucking Anyways. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the browser keys. Tiny file docs current. Okay. And let's freaking go. I'm gonna try to, let's actually go into the probe. I'm gonna call it TFD, and I'm gonna just move this entire thing in here. So what do, oh, it also has Pascal all of a sudden. It has PP, but it's just a free Pascal. It also has DLL. What the fuck did I just download? What is all of that slope? Did I download the correct? Okay, so I can see that there's a tiny file dialog cn.h. Maybe that's the things we need. But what the fuck is all of this slope with the DLLs and libs and shit? Holy fuck! Is that the shit that SourceForge edit for me? Because I know SourceForge likes to put like a malware in installers and stuff like that. It's just like, is that what it's doing? So okay, let's take a look at README. So tiny file dialogs official website is on SourceForge. Okay. So tray pop-up, input box, password box, message box, notification beep, caller picker twice, by the way. Right, as you can see, they said caller picker twice, so there's two caller pickers. Open file dialogs, save file dialogs, select folder dialog, ASCII UTF-8, and also MBCS and UTF-8 16 for Windows. Holy fuck! Native dialog library for Windows, Mac OS X. That's the library that you want to use, and it's only 2 files. Allegedly, we don't know that yet. So it's a tinyfiledocs.h, so here it is, and a tinyfiledocs.c. Right. So does it use Zenity? It does, in fact, use Zenity, right? So, holy shit, it just like tries different things. If you pass tinyfd query as a title, the function will not display the dialog, but return for graphics mode, blah, 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 blah. I'm curious, does it just try all of these different methods until one of them works? That would have been actually kind of based. I'm telling you, if it would just try all of these like things sequentially, okay, which one works, and just pick the one that works. Right. That would be kind of cool, right? So because depending on just Zenity, right, it's kind of lame, right? What if I don't have Zenity installed? Okay, let's try a different thing. So let's see if it does that, because my hypothesis is that it does exactly that. Right, so how do you even start using it? There's a lot of things in here. So message box, maybe we're gonna start with the message box. Message box, where is it? Message box, okay, so here we're trying that. So this is, I suppose, maybe a Windows thingy-majingy. Windows thingy-majingy. Okay, so maybe we should look at the example. So here is the hello.c example. And in here, okay, so we're setting up some filters and stuff like that. Then we do input box, okay. And then depending on whether it's a graphics mode or not graphics mode, it also supports console mode, by the way. It can accept stuff from the console. Right, then it does other things, and it just does a lot of things. Does it require any initialization? Does it require any initialization? I don't think so, right? I don't see any init things. All right, so let's try to maybe build this entire stuff. Right, so I'm going to do gcc o hello.c. Okay, so it cannot build that because it doesn't have the tiny file dialogs translation needed. That's understandable. So let's actually edit and I just build. Okay. So, and the executable itself is rather small. Okay, I really appreciate that. Let's take a look at, it doesn't link with any of the slop, at least at compile time, at link time. It might be linking with some slop at runtime. You never know. Maybe it just does LD open or some stuff like that. Maybe we can see LD open or DL open. No, I think it's called DL open because some of the libraries do that. They don't really, on the level of the executable, they don't really link with any of the slop, but then at runtime, they may start searching for the slop libraries and just like dynamically start linking with them. I think Raylib does that at some point. Right, so Raylib, one of the things Raylib does, it actually searches for the libx11 at runtime and just like might link it with it at runtime. So it's doing some sneaky scheiße in front of this, sneaky scheiße. Okay, so let's do hello. And okay, so it uses Zenity, I can tell you. So this looks like a Zenity dialog, so it detected that. Right, graphics console, dialogs, yes. Okay, so let's do yes. So password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my password. Guys, don't tell it any. Why did you freaking tell me? What the fuck is that? Like, imagine like asking for password and then openly displaying it for everyone during the. For fuck's sake, I will have to delete this VOD now. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, so now it asks for some sort of a file, for password file. So where to save that? Okay, let's actually save that to the password file. And let us read the password back. Okay, so let me go back in here because I think this is where it saved the password. Right, so here is the password file. If I open it, okay, so that's my password. Okay, that's pretty cool. And now I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, there's something wrong with Zenity, is that it has this weird like frame, something with the rendering. And your password as it was saved is that. Okay, so let us just select a directory. Okay, so let's maybe select the directory that we're currently in. So I suppose it just like tests all of the features in here, right? It just tests all of the features. All right, so the selected folder is the folder that we supplied. Okay, so you can now choose a color. Okay, so we select a color. Selected color is that. Why you keep showing me my password? I already know my password. Oh, by the way, you know, like it just reminded me. So the debuzz and stuff like that. I feel like open file dialog should be some sort of like a debuzz service that is standardized by Free Desktop. You know what I mean? Right, so because Free Desktop like standardized like a lot of different things. Right, so I think it should be sort of like an interface. So it is not, so I don't know, right? So is it standardized by like, is there some sort of like a debuzz call that says, okay, open file dialog, and depending on the open file dialog provider, it will just do different things. So I don't know. XDG desktop portal, it's the new debuzz standard. Okay, so maybe something XDG. So XDG desktop portal. So it is already like that. Then why do we need Zenity? So so portals kind of do that. So why nobody uses them then? So it's just like, so apparently there is some sort of a standard protocol for open file dialog and open file dialog providers, but nobody fucking uses that. Did I understand that correctly? So we have solution, we had solution all along, but nobody fucking uses that. It's a relative, okay, classic. Freaking classic. Anyways. Now, I want to conduct an experiment, chat. Let's fucking delete Zenity out of this computer. So what's gonna happen? Like, you were using Zenity. Let's fucking remove that motherfucker. What if I don't have it? What if I don't have it? Right, so I'm gonna do remove Zenity. I think that's what it is. Yep. I think it was also Zenity 3. So do we have Zenity 3? Yeah, it's not a package. It's not currently a package. Okay, so Zenity, no such file or directory. Fuck you, tiny file dialogs. Fuck you. Okay, so what you're gonna show me? Oh, okay. So it just tries to. That's fascinating. So tiny file dialogs on Unix needs Apple script or K-Dialogs or YAD or ACT. There's so many of different things. K-Dialogs, YAD or Zenity or Python 2 plus Tkinter 2 plus dbuzz optional. But why don't you, like, I do have Python and I do have Tkinter. So that's kind of weird. Huh. So, but let me see, import Tkinter. No, I don't have it. Do I have to install Tkinter separately? I always thought that it's kind of part of the It's not part of the batteries. I always thought that Tkinter is part of the Python batteries. All right, so what's going to happen if I install it? I'm actually curious. ZPS install, and let's just go ahead and install it. So it's going to install Tcl and some stuff like that. Right, and if I try to run this entire... okay. It detected. This is why I like this library the best. Not SFD, not NFD, but this one. Because it provides a bunch of sort of like backends and it tries them until one of them works and it just picks them. Okay, so we're using that. Graphics console. Yeah, so graphics, use graphics, and there you go. So now we're using the Python shit. Right, it actually offsets my dialog in here, but now it also leaks my password. This is kind of cool. This is what I was talking about. It just tries different solutions on Linux. So that is kind of cool. Guys, tell me that this is based. Tell me that this is based. And if none of the things work, it tries to do standard output, because I think if you don't have any of these backends installed, you're probably running on like a minimum environment like I do, right? You're probably like doing like Arch or Debian minimal or something like that. In that case, you probably know what you're doing. If you are not a power Linux user, you probably have one of those things installed. You probably have one of them installed, and tiny file dialogs can pick them up and start displaying some sort of things. So that's why I like this library better, and I think this is why Ray-san used this library for the for his Raylib project generator thingy, right? So I think we're gonna move forward with this library. I kind of like it. I want to install Zenity back, by the way. So it was also talking about something like YAP or YAD. I think it was YAD. Like VPS query rs YAD, so it's actually C. It's a yet another dialog. All right, so let's install it. I just want to see what it is. So this is going to be YAD. GTK source view. Interesting. All right, so we installed YAD. Okay, good. Okay, this is YAD. It picked up on YAD. Graphics mode YAD. All right, so what else can you show us? I don't see anything, so it probably, yeah, it probably moved the dialogue somewhere else. So yeah, YAD actually kind of sucks. YAD equal hell. Well, in Russian, YAD actually means poison, as far as I know. So it maybe depends on language. Right. So let's remove YAD. It kind of sucks. I kind of like Zenity more. I kind of like Zenity. So in Romanian, YAD means hell. Interesting. But again, in Russian, YAD means poison. Okay, so let's install Zenity. Let's go. libwebkit. You need a freaking WebKit to display file dialogs, trust me. Well, I mean, considering that some people in chat suggested to use Electron. Anyways. Okay. So, and it uses Zenity now. That's so cool. I really like this. It's such a based library. What the fuck is it doing on SourceForge? What the fuck is it doing on SourceForge? Like, for real. In Polish, Yad Venom. Ah, yeah, it's also Venom. I'm sorry. Like, I don't remember. There is, in English, there is a fundamental difference between poison and venom, right? So, if I remember correctly, poison is something that you basically consume yourself, eat yourself. And venom is something that is injected into you. So... I don't remember what's the difference between poison and venom. So poison is something you eat, venom is injected. Okay, yeah, okay. But what's interesting is that in Russian language, and I suppose in Polish as well, in both of the cases we use yad. So there's no really difference on the delivery mechanism, right? And honestly, it's kind of weird, like why do you have a separate word depending on the delivery mechanism? Yad means atravaden. Maybe, I don't know. It's just like languages, am I right? Languages are weird. Okay, so let's try to maybe use this library somehow. I'm gonna try to maybe make my own example.c, and let me see how you're supposed to use it, right? So how do you even include? So you just include it, right? So you just include tiny file dialogs. On top of that, you probably just include std.io. std.io. You don't do any initialization as far as I can tell, right? So on Windows, you probably want to enable UTF-8, right? So that's kind of interesting. And then you do input box, tinyfd beep, right? That's the first thing they do. You can do beeps in tiny file dialogs. Okay. Right, so what does it do? So this is H, but is that the documentation? If you pass, yeah, so it doesn't have documentation. That's really weird. Tiny file dialogs, tiny beep. Yeah, on Windows it's just a message beep. Wait, WinAPI has a message beep. So in English, please. In English, I don't speak Russian. Okay. So plays a waveform sound. The waveform sound for each sound type is identified by the entry registry, and then you can specify type. Oh, it's just depending on what happened, like an error or... Oh my god. That's so funny. So does it exist for Linux or anything like that? Okay. Okay, so this seems to be POSIX, and... yeah, it does something on POSIX, and it, oh my god, it tries to run different external programs and different shells to play a freaking sound. Oh my fucking goodness. Do you guys see this shit? This is on Linux. It literally tests different programs until one of them work. Holy fuck. It played sound, I didn't hear it. Wait. Literally, yeah, exactly. Literally AI. I don't have the headphones. I didn't hear any sound. I'm actually curious. Well, I mean, there's this sound, but I won't disable it. So let me see. Okay. Oh, fuck. It did in fact play something. I didn't hear that. What the fuck? This is like, and this is just a single translation unit without any configuration script, any autoconf slope or anything. It's just two files. Like, what such an unfathomably based library is doing on SourceForge? And it will work on macOS, on Linux with different freaking dialog providers, and on Windows. And bro, put it on GitHub. I want to give you a star. I want to give. I can't even give it. It's so fucking based. It doesn't exist on GitHub. right? It's like one thing I said. So the base thing about Tokyo Spliff, right? You guys know, you know him. Like it's a very base streamer on YouTube who makes like a game in C++. The base thing about Tokyo Spliff is that he doesn't have an X account, right? So I tried to find him on X just to follow him because he's so fucking based. I couldn't fucking find him. And I think this is the most based move he could ever done. And the same thing with this library. The most based move the author of this library did is just like, they didn't put it on GitHub. Because fuck you. That is actually based. If it's good enough for Raysan, it's good enough for me. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so yeah, like I really like this library. Like I want to give it a star, but I mean, I can't do that. Bro, who made this library? Who's that based individual? So who's the author? Okay, so this is their website. I wanna visit their website. Who are they? Bro, holy shit. Fuck your certificates. Fuck your TLS. Fuck you. Okay, that's good. That's good. So cross-platform model dialogs in C++ for all of these things. Mesh viewer. So yeah, is there anything about this based individual? More videos. So they're making videos and stuff like that. This is not in English. All right. So there's not that much known anything about this individual except toot, cross-platform command line tool and C++ library to toot. Oh, they do put some stuff on GitHub. I feel like my reality is falling apart. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? What? Okay, they put some stuff on GitHub, but they keep tiny file dialogs on SourceForge. That person cares about what exactly. Do they have tiny file dialogs on GitHub though? So they have beep and they have toot. Honestly, that's fair. That's fair. That's the only thing GitHub deserves. Honestly. Right. If I had to decide what GitHub as a platform deserve, well, that's what they deserve. So I only have words of respect to this individual. It's just like, yeah, that's what GitHub deserves. It doesn't deserve tiny file dialogs. Neither does SourceForge, but that's a separate question. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a star. That's a good library. I really like that. So the face behind toot. Exactly. The face behind toot. What's more based than tiny file dialogs? Toot. Have you heard about toot library? So there's something commented out in here. I suppose this is some sort of an example. Okay. All right. So let me see. Chat. Truth. Let me see. How do I do like open file? Okay. So this is just like literally open file. The open file name. Okay. So let's take a look at what exactly this function does. Tiny file dialogs. Okay. So let's copy paste this thing. And in the example, right, I'm just gonna be doing that. Let's query replace. Let's query replace the tab with 4 spaces. Like so. Okay, so we have to provide the file. So, so music file, because this is exactly what we're going to be doing in here, right? So what we're going to be opening. The default path, let's open the current path. So this is the default path. A number of filter parameters. Okay, this one is interesting. So we have to provide the filter parameters. 0 in the following example. Okay, so we can actually provide 0 and null for the filter parameters if I suppose we don't have any filters, which is understandable, right? So let's do it like that. Single filter description Okay, so I suppose it doesn't matter, right? So it's going to be 0. Allow multiple selects. We're going to say no. Do not allow multiple selects. So this seems to be the basic usage of this thing. And music file, right? So we're going to save it to here. And I suppose in case of an error, it may return null, but we don't know that yet. So let's actually print music file equal to s. Let's maybe use equal, because we're programmers, we're trying to be nerdy and stuff like that. And if I try to build this entire thing, so this is my example C with tiny file dialogs. It just compiled, I'm running example, it asks me to open some sort of a file, I'm opening the file, and I have it Why is it so fucking simple? It just fucking works, like what the fuck? And again, if I remove Zanity, so let me actually see Zanity. Let's remove it, like so. Okay. And I try to run the whole thing. Now I'm using a different provider. Like I didn't make any modification to my code. Like now this is a different provider. Whatever provider we found is going to be probably using that. So the fact that it has so many, and look at that, you canceled it, it just returns null. It just returns null. But it blocks. Maybe you can make it non-blocking. I don't know. Tiny file dialogs. But I mean, open file dialog is supposed to be blocking anyway, so it's not like we're trying to do something super special in here. Block. There's nothing about blocking though. Tiny file dialogs. Block. Nah, I don't think you can make it non-blocking, but this is not what we want to do anyway, right? So I'm kind of fine with it being blocking, because why not? So I'm installing Zanity back. Alrighty. By the way, so maybe it returns null in case of an error, and cancel is just one of the errors. It just cancels one of the errors. Tiny file dialogs.h. Where is the hello? It's not a hello example, tiny fd, and look at that, it has a prefix. It has a prefix, so it doesn't pollute your namespace, which is cool. So in case of multiple files, so if you select multiple files, it actually puts a separator in there, returns null on cancel, but it says nothing about errors. Right, it says nothing about errors. How do you handle errors if one happens? That's an interesting question. So get global char returns null on error. I don't think maybe they don't care about errors, so maybe you don't expect any errors. So anything about error? Nah, I don't think they care about errors. Yeah, I don't see anything about errors. Okay, this is a very cool library. 10 out of 10. So yeah, again, open file, like file dialogs in a cross-platform way is a very difficult problem. One of the most difficult problems of computer science, and this library is doing its best to kind of resolve it. Right. I think that's a very good solution. That's a very good solution. I want to integrate it into Musializer. So I'm already streaming for 1 hour, and I want to make a break. I want to make another cup of tea. And after a break, I think we should spend some time integrating this library into Musializer. Sounds good? Sounds Gucci? Tamaguchi? All right, we are back. So let's actually try to integrate tiny file dialogs to our project. So I'm gonna literally just copy them. So tiny. So I already have it downloaded in here, so I might as well just put it in src. So I need some sort of a folder where I put all of the third-party dependencies, right? So I already have a relic folder. I might as well rename this to third-party, but I have a feeling that if I rename to third-party, it will break all sorts of things for the operating systems that I don't have an opportunity to test right now. So I think I'm going to just copy tiny file dialogs to the source code. Right, just like copy them in here, and just like that. All right, so then now what I want to do I have a separate folder where we have a build system, right? So this is a source code for the build system. And in here, we are providing different translation units, which we intend to build. And also we build different things depending on whether hot reloading is enabled or disabled, right? So because you can hot reload or not. So let's actually try to add tiny file. Okay, let's actually not try to add it. Let's just like include it. All right, let's include it and start using it. So this is the state of the Musializer. Let me try to just run Musializer as is. Just run it as is. All right, so let's put some stuff. This is music. This is music. This is null, and something like this. So, okay. What I want to do. So here is the render. A render button. When I press the render button, it will start rendering into output MP4, so the file name is actually hard-coded. What I want to do instead, I want to open the save file dialog. Right, so here I'm pressing it and it starts rendering. Let's cancel it. Right, let's actually find this entire thing. So as far as I know, it's just like literally render and brackets R. Like it literally should be like that. So grep R, render R. So it is hard-coded like it is not, maybe because I have to escape this syntax. There we go. So here's a tooltip. So this is a tooltip and it's used for a render button with location. Right, so and this is the function that is called, it's not called directly, it's actually called through this macro, which is a render button. Right, so and if you click that button, you start rendering the track. Right, you start rendering the track, and this is where we probably want to actually like open the file dialog instead. So this is where we want to do that. Let me see. I wonder how it's going to interact with the sound and stuff like that, because it's going to block the main loop. Is it dangerous? I didn't think it's dangerous that much. Right, so yeah, because it's simply not gonna go update music and stuff like that, right? So it's simply not gonna call that. So let me see. So let's include tiny file dialogs.h, and in a tiny file dialogs, save. Was it save file dialog? Let's freaking go. So it also returns you the file path. What's the storage of the file of that file path? Do I have to save it, like deallocate it myself? So this is the title, path to rendered video, right? Path to rendered video, and so what do we say in here? So default one. Let's say that default one is going to be just dot. Do I want to have any filter parameters in here? Is that a good idea to have any filter parameters? We might as well just like have MP4. But the question is, how do you do filter parameters? Let's go into the TFD example. So here is an example. This is not that. Hello. Filter, save. So here is a bunch of filter parameters, and it's that. Okay, that is understandable. So here are the filter parameters. Yeah, filter params. I kind of prefer snack case. So in here, I think we can just put MP4. Let's say that we support only MP4 for now. And now here are the filter params. And I want to actually take the size of that array. So it's a static array, so I should be able to use array len to get its size, like so. Single filter description. I forgot what it is. A single filter description. MP4 video file or something like that. So in here, I'm gonna put this kind of thing. Start rendering with custom path. Also how do we deallocate? Right, output path. Deallocate output path. All right, so something like that. I guess that's what we want in here. Now I'm gonna try to rebuild the whole thing. It is going to not link properly. Right, so here's implicit declarations, probably wants something like knob, probably because we do not strip the prefixes of knob, but we can fix that for now. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't have anything in here. So if I go to src build, knob Linux, so do we have hot reloading enabled? I do not quite remember. Let's take a look at the config. Hot reloading is not enabled, so that means we have to put it in here. But I mean, we have to support it in any case. So src tiny file dialogs.c. Right, and let's add this kind of thing to this build as well. Right, I should have not added that extra comma. Let's go. All right. So using serial compilation of two L-trans jobs, LTO option documentation for more information. Aha. So recently we added FLTO. So I suppose it doesn't like that if we are doing some stuff. Is it going to... Does it always say that? I'm not quite sure. So, okay, let's remove FLTO and see if it stops saying that. Okay, it doesn't like FLTO. It's not an error, it's a warning. All right, so, but I don't know what it means. Anyways, so it seems to be working. So let's do actually build Musializer. Let's open this thing like that. And all right, so I'm gonna try to, excuse me. All right, so now I say render. Segmentation fault. Nice. I'm sorry if it was too loud. Do I have Zenity installed, by the way? Because I remember I removed Zenity. Yeah, I do have Zenity installed. So something... Wait a freaking second. I wonder what exactly happened in here. So null or const... Yeah, so here is the txt, but I want... There's one. Look, why do I put a number in here? I don't need a number in here. Well, this is bad, right? So you're not supposed to update these kind of things yourself. All right. So let me see, and let's try to put this thing in here. Shut up. Render. Ooh, look at that! Look at that! So we can now say maybe okay. So it's using Musializer, custom output MP4, and I say OK. And it should crash, and it should crash with how do we deallocate output path. Right, so, and let me try to see, so tiny, so do you have anything like free? No, you don't. So does it just use like a local buffer? We need to investigate that, chat, we need to investigate that. Does it have some sort of a local buffer? Tiny file dialogs. Where's the C file? Tiny file dialog C. Okay, so remove that, please. Aha! It's a static. Aha! So it literally returns L retrieval, L L buffer, and L buff is a static local internal buffer. So it just uses a local internal buffer. And it overrides that every time you call to this function. Based. We can work with that. So this is for Windows, but I just suspect that it works the same for all. Okay, all of them probably have their own like local buffer. Yeah, look at that. So it's all local buffer. It's all local buffer. Unfathomably based. I respect that. I freaking respect that. So okay, so we need to start rendering. So as I already said, the path is actually hard-coded to output MP4. Where is it though? Where is it hard-coded? So let's actually find output MP4. Okay, so it is it is hard-coded deeper than I expected. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. So you provide a sound file path. So this is probably where we have to do the modification, right? So ffmpeg start rendering. Let's provide const char output path, right? So this is going to be output path, and let's find. So this is implementation for Linux. So we have like a interface for the ffmpeg wrapper, and we have two implementations for Linux, which is actually POSIX, and for Windows, right? So, and in here, I suppose now we need to add that additional parameter, right? So we're adding that additional parameter. So 24 down, let's put that stuff in here, and Windows in here, 21 down, let's add this additional parameter. So I don't know how to test on, well, I think I do know how to test on Windows. I can actually cross-compile with MinGW, and this is something that we can do today, which will enable us to test tiny file dialogs on Windows with Wine and stuff like that. So this is actually kind of interesting. So this will be cool, chat. This will be cool. All right, so let's go to the compilation errors. So it doesn't like something, texture argument. Oh yeah, I see. So start rendering. So let's accept the output path in here. So this is the output path, and we're just passing this output path in here. What else do we need in here? Okay, output path. So was it the first parameter or the second one? I don't remember. Okay, so this output path, and I just put output path in here. All right, look at that. So this is a tiny file dialog, right? So we grab the output path. We don't have to clean it because it uses internal buffer. We start rendering track, and yeah, so like minimum modification is required in here, actually. Minimal modification, I really like that. All right, so what next do we have in here? Too few arguments. Okay, so it does a similar thing if you press the render key. Okay, so that means we're gonna be having a little bit of a duplicate code between these things, which we probably want to tuck maybe under start rendering track. You know what I mean? Right, so because, yeah, both of these things, what they do is just like start rendering track. And it would be probably better for the start rendering track to do the open file dialog, I think. Right, if we take a look at that, yeah, let's actually do that inside of it. Let's freaking go. I'm gonna copy paste this entire thing and go to start rendering track. All right, so just do that because it's all shared anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we don't have to accept output path anymore. We don't have to accept it because it's taken inside of it. This code requires no modification, and another code, another place where we do that is here. Also doesn't need to be modified, so it's all reused in here. Let's try to compile this entire stuff. So it accepts but doesn't use. Okay, so this is on Linux. And output file path, where is this? Okay, so output path. So output MP4, right, it's not really used anywhere anymore. Let's go. Okay, so I think that's working. So let's actually go and do something like Musializer. All right, so I'm opening this entire thing. Shut up. And then I do render, please. It opens the save file dialog, which is understandable. So let's go somewhere here. All right, so I'm going to copy paste it in here, and I'm going to say custom output MP4. All right, okay, and it's rendering into custom output MP4. Thank you, tiny file dialogs. Very fucking cool. Very based fucking library. I really fucking appreciate it. Okay, so and if I open custom output, that was easy. That was freaking easy. So I can recommend this library. I can really recommend this library. So what kind of modifications did we need to do? So just like, yeah, we just added this thing. Honestly, I could remove these comments because I don't think they're that useful. I don't think they're that useful, so let's actually get rid of them. And the lack of these comments kind of allows us to maybe just put it like that. I'm not sure if is that a good idea, but yeah. So that's basically it. And in terms of memory management, like I don't have to do anything, right? So because it's a local reusable static buffer, so it's just like, yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, if output path, that's a good point. If yeah, if output path is equal to null, just return. Yeah, the good point. Thank you so much. Return like this. So it's not gonna initiate any of this process. Let's give it a try actually. All right. So and now if I try to run it, and boom, I'm gonna press R. It asks for the path as usual. Well, I mean, I have to copy. Oh, I pressed escape and it still works. Right, so I can do that. Then I can cancel the whole thing and it continues working and doesn't stop rendering. Very straightforward, actually. Very straightforward. So, okay, let me maybe create a separate branch because I want to do more, right? So I don't want to only use save file dialog. I have a couple of ideas for open file dialog, right? So because some people told me some time ago, it was a long time ago actually, that drag and drop is not particularly convenient for them. What I want to do is support in this, at least in this screen, drag and drop plus clicking. So you click on it and it opens file dialog for you. So it's going to be two paths, like just click and open file dialog and you can just open it and stuff like that. And then once you move to this screen, we can add a plus button in here that opens file dialog and adds the file. And you can also drag and drop if you want to, right? So we'll allow all of these different ways to add a file. What if you close the dialog? Did you watch the stream, Marilla? Right. Look. So, oh, you mean close, not like in cancel? I think it's counted as cancel. Yeah, the closing is just cancel. Closing is just cancel. So we can also support control all, right? It's not that difficult at some point to do, right? So we can support all of these things, right? So this is a GUI application. Latency viewer, yeah, that's a classic latency viewer. This application is freaking cool. Like, look at that. It supports all of these things and it's just like, it feels like a GUI application, but it doesn't use any electron slope or anything like that. So freaking cool. I really like that. And you can just do full screen. And just like, I really like it. Very cool application. Yes, I wanted to create like a file dialogs, right? So now, before we go into the open file dialogs, let's test it on Windows because we have an opportunity to do so. Right, so I can do cross compilation with MinGW. So let's do knob. Let's fucking go. Oh, it needs to rebuild the array lib, which is fine, whatever. So let's see how it's gonna work on Windows. Okay, so on Windows, it can't link because we didn't add tiny file dialogs into the compilation. So src build window MinGW. Okay, so MinGW. Where are the translation units? So this is just a regular thing. So if the hot reloading is enabled, so let's do that. Tiny file dialogs.c. So this is with hot reloading. Without hot reloading, that's another thing we have to do in here. Tiny file dialogs. Okay, let's rebuild it. Okay, so unused parameters on Windows. Yeah, that's exactly what I want you to see. Output MP4. Can I put? I think I can just put S in here. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, I should be able to see what I'm doing. So output path, like so. Let's fucking go. All right. Doesn't link properly. It wants. Ooh. Co-ini. Do I have to now link with... I have a feeling that now I have to link with some additional stuff like this one. So all the stuff that we need is in one of those libraries, right? So like WinMM or GDI 32 or whatever. So I think we have to Google it up. So what the fuck is that? Undefined reference, exactly. What library should we link it? User 32 or kernel 32, exactly. We can try both of them, but Stack Overflow is just like, it's not working. I can try to assume maybe it's a user 32. Let's give it a try. Is it gonna fix anything? No. So what about L kernel 32? Shell, maybe shell. Shell looks like, it sounds like it, actually, because it's part of the shell. Shell 32. No, it's not that. It's actually not that. So Stack Overflow doesn't work. Build on window. Okay, so here it is. So what do you want? What do you want to link with? LOL. Okay. So is that the thing we have to link with? I can give it a try. Cast incompatible function. So what if I remove all of these things? Are they important? Ole. So do we need this one? I feel like we don't really need that one, but we can link with it just in case. And the fact that it has a warning, so between incompatible function types, farproc, well, yeah, it's probably fine, right? So we're not on WebAssembly or anything. Okay, so we only need this one. So, okay, so let's give it a try. Now, we have build Musializer XZ, which is MS Windows executable. We can try to run it with Wine. So it's going to take some time. So look, the Wine is going to configure itself or whatever. So it wants to install Wine Mono. We don't need Wine Mono. Just start the. There we go. So this is a window version of the Musializer. It looks kind of identical actually, but it works. It works as well. So now if I press render, so this is a save file dialog of Wine. So that means the tiny file dialogs actually worked, right? So it used Win API. So it does this kind of thing, but I mean, it still works. So custom output Windows, I think it's not going to work because we don't have ffmpeg executable and it calls to external ffmpeg executable. Yeah, so we don't have an external ffmpeg executable, I think. So could not, yeah, it could not start. Unfortunately, I don't have it on my machine, but I do have it in releases actually. So let me actually grab the release, one of the releases here. So let's download it. It's gonna. I hope it's not gonna take too much. It needs WinFFmpeg. Right, I do have it. Right, so I ship it with the releases. So because I do care about my users, right? So I'm not just like some stinky nerd. I provide you the exe file, right? I provide you all the necessary exe files. So where is the Musializer? That's weird. Ah, fuck. It spilled over. Fuck. Yeah, on Windows we actually zip bomb you, in a sense that we don't have an inner folder because Windows will create that folder. Okay, at least ffmpeg.exe is here. Yeah. Right, so I even tried to sort of like blend in and act like a real Windows user, right? So here is the zip, but it doesn't have additional layer of folder because we Windows users don't need that. We're not stinky Linux users and stuff like that, right? So I completely forgot about that, right? Even though I don't care about this kind of shit, but I mean, Anyways, so let me copy ffmpeg in here. Right, so let's try to do wine one more time. And let's try to render this entire thing. So custom Windows output MP4, and it is working. It is twerking. It is working. Is it working? It is working. It is working. It is working. Twerking. Working. Okay, so custom Windows. It also opens this thing, but this is because it's ffmpeg. Right, but it is working. Right, as you can see, ffmpeg. This is the Windows ffmpeg. Windows ffmpeg executable running through Wine. Right, we run Windows Musializer through Wine. It started a child of ffmpeg, right, of Windows 1, and it's just like rendering now. So I'm not sure how good of an idea to run ffmpeg executable as a separate thing. Maybe eventually we're going to link with ffmpeg libraries, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it works on Windows, as you can see. I also want to test the MSVC build, but I'm not 100% sure how to reproduce that because I don't think I kind of lost my MSVC setup. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but all of that works. All of that actually works. But let's go back to Linux. So here's a config. So this is that Linux build. So let's rebuild all of that stuff in here. Cool. So let me just start Musializer. Drag and drop. Plug.c, drag and drop. This is where we do all of that stuff. This is where we do all of that stuff. So we're handling drag and drop just above this thing. So we have like a basically condition. Do you have a current track running or do you not? If you don't have a current track running, that means you have none of the, like not a single track in the tray. So that means this is the screen that we have to show. So, but drag and drop works regardless of the screen. It works every time. So that means drag and drop handling has to happen above that thing. And here it is, right? So, and this is like a preview screen. It's essentially a function that is run on each frame because this is how Relief works, right? So on each frame you can check, was file dropped or was it not? If it was dropped, you can get a list of the dropped files. You can iterate through them, you can add them and so on and so forth. This is one of the things you can do. Right, now, what I want to do, I need to grab the code that is responsible for adding a new track, and maybe factor it out so I can reuse it with Open File Dialog. But before I can do that, let's go into this screen and try to detect a click. How do we detect a click? Does anybody remember? So okay, so this is the function that we have in here. Is mouse button pressed button left? So do we have as mouse button clicked maybe? Is mouse button. So there's only mouse button pressed, mouse button released. Yeah, just mouse button released. What I'm thinking is that we could probably use the button functionality in here. So we have a button with ID, right? So we have a button with ID. We can try to use that. Because we can take the entirety of the screen and we claim that entirety of the screen to be a button. So that's one of the things we can do. I think it's kind of interesting. So button with ID. So how do we compute ID? I already forgot. I have this ID system, right? But I completely forgot how it works. So let me try to recover the knowledge of how it works. So this is the button with location. Aha. That's very interesting. So buttons have unique ID, but that unique ID depends on its location. That's really funny, right? So an location is file and line, right? So we literally use the location, like a file and line, as a unique identifier for the button, right? So we do a hash on it and so on and so forth. And I suppose the way you actually use that is that, okay, you just use button and you provide the boundary. Do we even use this function anywhere? Just That's so cool. Did I come up with that? Wait, this is so cool. Drag and drop. So do I have the entirety of the screen somewhere? So here's the W and H, and I suppose that's what it is. So I can basically have an entire, like, sort of like a screen button, right? So this is a screen button, and it's a 0, 0 width and height, right? And then I can say button the screen, right? Let's just call it screen like that, right? So this is a button, and the way you use that button, it returns you its status, and you can check whether it was clicked or not, like so. And you can do something in here. Yeah, I got it from Jaya. I just remember. Thank you so much. I got this idea from Jaya, from John. Okay, open. My keyboard died. Okay, open file dialog, like so. And it probably has to be knob. Damn, that's so cool. That's actually super easy. Can I use clitoral for this kind of situations? I wonder. I think I should be able to use clitorals. Let me try to do that. So because I don't want to come up with a name for this thing. All right. So button passed for parameters, but okay, that's understandable because it's a macro, so you have to have additional thing in here. Alrighty. Okay. So now if I so what did it say? Open file dialog. Okay. So tiny file dialogs. Open. So load, was it save file dialog? So this is an open file dialog. All right. What kind of files can you open in here? So we'll probably have to provide the filters and stuff. So let's go replace this one with just that. Let's call that input path. Right, this is our input path. So what's going to be the title? Save file dialog, path to render file. So path to music file, right? So this is the path to music file. Default path, let's put dot in here. All right. So let's not put any filters right now. I'm gonna put 0. So add filters for the supported music formats. We kind of have a list of officially supported formats. I think we put that in. Yeah. So like, I just don't want to do this kind of stuff right now, though it's not really that difficult, honestly. It's not that difficult if you think about it, because we can just use a little bit of an Emacs magic to achieve the greatness. I think that's what we can do. So what is the filter params? So char const filter params. So this is the things we have. Here are the filter params. Nothing particularly special. So, and then we do array length, maybe the knob array length, filter params, like so. Boom. And then we provide the filter param themselves. Filter params. Boom. So let's remove that stuff. So single file descriptor, I don't remember what it is. Save file dialog. I don't know. Single filter description. I'm gonna music file. So I think that's fair. Allow multiple selects. Not now, though. It would be nice, but I don't want to spend time parsing bars right now. So allow multiple selects. I'm gonna actually put false in here, and we're gonna put it to do enable multiple selects. Yeah, I think that's gonna be cool. And if input path is something, we have to do that thing. All right, so open track. Let's see how it's gonna work now. Let's see how it's gonna work. So it doesn't compile. Allow. So what you didn't like, semicolon, that's understandable. All right, so it doesn't like something expected. I keep forgetting semicolons. Get fucking damn it. Freaking semicolons, brovskis. All right, so let's put a knob in here. I should probably strip the prefixes, but I'm a little bit afraid to strip prefixes because maybe there will be some sort of a collisions in here. But, I mean, we can always disable strip prefixes back. So, strip prefix, let's enable that. Is it breaking anything? It doesn't break anything, so I can now do this kind of stuff. I don't have to provide knob. That's perfect. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, let's fucking go. So, I need to open this thing. I need to select la music. Let's find some music. This is my favorite one. I'm gonna use OGG. And what does it say? It says, didn't see shit. Maybe it's a different, I think. Did I do that in compilation? What? Oh, I think it was just a shell. Yes. Yeah, one more time, chat. One more time, but with passion. With passion. Oh, right. This is not what I wanted, actually. One more time. Music. Is this one? Is this one? There we go. Open track. Open track. Perfection. Perfecto. Perfecto, mate. So, yeah, how are we gonna be doing that? So when we drag and dropping. So these are the basically files, right? So we taking the path, we making the music, we're checking the music is ready or not, and we're just doing the usual thing. So we literally have to just copy paste this thing. And we also should not forget to do this additional stuff. All right, so this is relatively easy. Let's do it to do. Not really that one, but this one. Okay. So, but this is not dropped files. Could you please just indent? I think the easiest way to indent it is going to be like this. All right. So here's the dropped files. Input path. And we're also duplicating it, right? So that's quite important. And then we're just creating it like that. All right, I think that's pretty good. So, and then we're checking if the current track after all of that stuff is null, but we still have some tracks, we have to set that track to something, otherwise it's not the correct state of the application. So that's basically what it is. Can I just go? Yeah, thank you so much. So that's basically what it is. This is a duplicate code, and we'll have to compress at some point, but it's not that important right now. It is not that important right now. All right, so let me see if it's going to work now. Boom, boom, Let's fucking go. Opening this thing. Let's open that one, and it works. I can now open with the open file dialogs, not only with drag and dropping, but I can still use drag and dropping, I believe. Let me see if just drag and dropping still works, because maybe it interferes with the buttons and stuff like that. Probably not. I think Raylip will take care of all of that. If I just drag and drop, it still works. So now, like, I can do either drag and drop, or I can click on it and open file dialog. So that means that the sign that we have in here is kind of obsolete. Drag and drop music here. Click or drag and drop. So I need to think. How can we word that? How would we word that? So this is a steeping T, it's not needed. So click to add music or or drag and drop. click to select file, or drag and drop. Figure it out. Yeah, this one is interesting, right? So drag and drop music here, or just drag and drop. Click to select file. If I do cancel, okay, so cancel, I just realized that cancel also works. All right, so I kind of like this one. Maybe just is too much. Maybe just is too much. Click to select. Click to select file. Yeah, let's actually go with that one. So let's try to enable hot reloading. So this is going to be config, because that's kind of the point of hot reloading. So let's rebuild. Make file icon in Inkscape. Yeah, we'll have to think about that, right? So like, what's going to be the best user experience, right? So because it's kind of a tutorial. This entire thing is sort of like a tutorial that tells you what you like have to do. Tutorial page. Maybe we'll have to get rid of that screen right away, because listen, right? So once you drag and drop this thing in here, right, you go to this screen, and in the future in this screen we're gonna have like a plus button in here. Why do you need that screen in the first place? You can just open this thing with an empty thing. The person will see plus and will just click plus and stuff like that. Is it really necessary to have that screen anymore? I'm not really sure. I'll have to think about that. But for now, let's actually try to modify it. Right, so did I rebuild the thing in here? I think I did. Okay. So here is this stuff. Let me put it in here. All right. So I don't remember how you hot reload the thing. So Musializer, hot reload. So what are the keys? Yeah, it's H. All right. So let me take a look. Drag and drop. Drag and drop. Your mom. So let's rebuild. Now it's taking some time to rebuild, but it kind of works. So that means I can now modify things. So we're having now two labels. So that's what we're doing here. We have two labels. So here's the label. I define its color, I take its size, and I define its position in here, and then I just drop it. And we also have a pop-up tray. I think I know why do we have pop-up tray. That's kind of actually cool. So let me show you what we use pop-up tray for. Yeah, it just that's kind of cool. Damn, this app is fucking cool. Like, sometimes I look at my past projects and it's just like, damn, that's cool. So if there's an error, it will just show you pop-up tray. It's epic. It's actually epic. I didn't want to open. Thank you so much. But anyways, so I want to put like a second label. Let me see how we can do that. Yo. So this one may become click to select file. All right. And let me just go to here like this. Click to that looks good. I really like how it looks like. Right, if you open it up, click to select file. That already kind of looks good. Right, do we need to do drag and drop and shit? I feel like we don't need to. You just select a file and pretty cool. I like that. Anyways, so click to select file. So the second label is going to be drag and drop to move here. Its color is also going to be white, but so we also take its size, but its position is going to be slightly different. What I'm thinking is that we can just update the position. We can keep the position as is, but then in terms of Y, we can just add font base and then just draw the label yet again. Maybe we can put parentheses in here. Let's see. And boom, or drag and drop it here. So that kind of work, but not really. All right, so because we also need to update the X position. In terms of X, I think we just need to update it like that. Right. It didn't obviously work because I forgot the semicolon, god freaking damn it. And now, yeah, so it's kind of like that. But I mean, it's X. What the fuck am I doing? It's not Y, it's X. Mutable variables. It's W. I'm gonna figure that. Guys, I know how to program. I know how to program, I swear. There you go. So, does it look good? I'm not really sure. So, it's not really centered vertically, if you know what I mean. But if we make this entire thing just smaller, I think it may work. So how can we set this entire thing smaller? We may have, right, so this is just the size, but then we can say font size. So what is the base size? Is it integer or is it something else? I do not quite remember, chat. src raylib.h. Base size, it is in fact integer, it's base size. Okay, so I can do something like font size, and it's basically the base size of the font size, like this, and we just use it like that. Right, so this is a font size. But then in here, yeah, so font size like so, and then I say, okay, so let's like reduce this entire thing by 2. Reduce the font size by 2, and hopefully that is going to make some difference. Okay, so that's very interesting, but that didn't update properly. That only updated that thing. So what if we put it down by 2 size? All right, so I'm gonna multiply it by 2. Who needs browsers and CSS? Who needs look at that. What do you guys think? So, noise. And obviously it doesn't have to be your mom, right? So it could be something else, right? So, or your mom, or drag and drop it here. Maybe even it. Yeah. And this is not CSS. This is pure C, by the way, just saying. So click to select file or drag and drop it. Or it's just like, or just drag and drop it. Or just drag and drop it. So good as of, yeah. So it's not CSS. So it feels kind of still weird that, nah, since it's smaller, it's just like it's not centered, so it looks alright, I think. I think it looks alright. Yeah, kind of like it. Capitalizing every word is weird, but this is what they do in English, though, don't they? I think that's what they do in English. We may not capitalize anything, so we like just an it, maybe there's no point in capitalizing. Yeah, so something like this is a little bit better, right? Or just drag and drop. So it's a little bit soapy, if you know what I mean, but this is because we didn't load a proper font for it. So yeah, I don't know. So Another thing we need to add in here is some sort of a le button, right, when we already selected the file, right? So when we have something, yeah, we need to be able to add more files in here. So let me just add a bunch of files, as many as possible, so it actually triggers the scroll bar. And I need that scroll bar because I want to see where is the... Okay, I see. So that's a little bit of a problem, right? Because I want to have a button somewhere on the scroll, so I don't want to deal with this kind of thing. This scroll, let me tell you, how did I come up with that? And it's also like smooth and shit. Holy fuck. Look at that. Who needs I'm GUI? Can your I'm GUI do that? And it's also immediate GUI, by the way, right? So it's just like in terms of approach. We can add like a new like plus button in here. We can add a plus button in here at some point, but it will require adding icon and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna just put it to do in here for now. All right, so yeah, we're gonna put it to do. Where can I put the to do? So button, what kind of buttons do we have in here? So there's a cancel. This is not what I want. So there's all sorts of buttons. Play button, for instance. Where do we use play button? If play button, we don't even use it directly. That's what's funny about it. Yeah. So here it is. So here we're rendering toolbar, right? So, and yeah. Oh, we also have a microphone support. Just a second. Okay. So implement add new track button that uses tiny file dialogs. Yeah. Completely forgot about the microphone feature. Config.h microphone. Is this still compilable? I don't quite remember. So and then I do something like that. Yeah. I don't remember. Oh yeah. Look at that. I think it's also recording at the same time. Yeah, it's also recording at the same time. So yeah. So essentially the idea was that instead of like drag and dropping, you can record a snippet from microphone and we'll add that snippet to the tray, so then you can visualize it and stuff like that. But let's actually remove. I haven't finished that feature, that's why it's behind the feature flag. Right, so you have to explicitly enable it for it to work. So it's not finished yet. It is not finished yet. So yeah, tiny file dialogs. Tiny file dialogs. That's pretty based. I need to test how all of that works on other operating systems like macOS and stuff like that. And my CI is kind of broken, but I suppose I'll do all of that already off screen because the main portion of the work for today's session is basically done, right? So introduce tiny file dialogs. Right, and I'm going to push that branch into the repo, and then I'm going to polish it up, and then I'm going to merge it into the main branch. All right, so thank you so much, CodeCat69, Coaster, so Element0216, Jean, by the way, thank you. So yeah, tiny file dialogs, everyone, tiny file dialogs. So how is this Zoom feature on stream is settled in few words? It's a program that I implemented myself. It's called Boomer, believe it or not. So essentially, I just bound running an executable Boomer into the shortcut. And when I do that, right, it allows me to do this kind of thing. Then I press Q and the application quits. And that is just a very simple application that I wrote myself. All right, so you can find it in here if you are interested. So it's called Boomer because it's a Zoomer application for Linux. It only works for Linux because it uses Linux mechanisms. That's what it is, essentially. That's what it is. Does that satisfy your curiosity? I rewrite that shit in C. Maybe eventually I'll rewrite it in something, but I don't know. I'm kind of lazy. So it works for now. Maybe at some point when nim becomes like so unmaintained that I won't be able to compile Boomer anymore, maybe then I'll just like rewrite it in something else. But so far, nim is being maintained, and so there's nothing to worry about, honestly. So let's take a look at the nim programming language. So nim programming language. Please open up. It doesn't open up. Something with my internet today is just like a very slow. Can you just open up? Freaking, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Is there any Git? Okay, so here's the source code and shit. Why the dialog is white mode? I have no idea. So as far as I know, Zenity uses GTK 3 or 4. And it loads its theme from its config, or maybe some sort of a config register or some shit like that. You know, software bullshit. You know, like when you work with software, this is the bullshit that you usually have to deal with. And you kind of get used to that and you kind of start ignoring it. It's just like, oh, it's using white theme. It probably didn't pick up that I prefer dark theme for whatever reason. So whatever, it's software. Nobody expects it to work anyway. So, you know what I mean? Like software developers, like, you know what I mean. Right? If you worked with software, you like literally know what I'm talking about. It's software bullshit. It didn't pick it up. Who am I to fucking fix it? It's not my job, right? So, okay, so nim, the latest changes to nim was made 11 hours ago. So nim is still maintained. So there's no reason for me to worry and rewrite it to anything else. So yeah, software bullshit, as usual. I forgot nim even existed. Yeah, true. It's kind of like it turned into like a low profile language, right? So it starts to be quiet. It was always quiet, honestly. Like, nim was never hyped up language, which is kind of weird, right? So because it's competing in the same area as Zig and Odin and all of these languages, but it never tries to hype itself up. It's just like it stays low, right? So it's just like charging up its attack. So I don't know. I know what's up with that. At the same time, it's a little bit of opinionated language in some sense. And it's also very slow for my liking. And also for what it's doing. I don't know why it is so freaking slow. It was never hyped, but it still has a crown. I see. Yeah. I don't know. So the speed of compilation of nim, even for something simple, kind of turns me off, honestly. It kind of turns me off. We can even check it out. So let me see. So do I even have nim? I do. So how do you write a hello world in nim? Does anybody remember? So hello nim. Is it just like echo hello world? Nim. So, okay, so C, yeah, so honestly, it became faster recently, but I mean, yeah, I think it became faster. Did it speed it up recently? So let me take a look at the Boomer. So how do you build it? I think you have to use the Nimble. So it's 23, so that's how you build it. Nah, it's still slow. Well, I mean, first it needs to download all the slop. Or maybe this is because I'm on a better computer these days, so... Alright, so it's actually a little bit faster than I remembered. Did you ever try Crystal? Yes. I don't remember anything about it, but I kind of... Yeah, I remember trying it. Honestly, it's just like, oh, I tried so many languages, I literally failed to see any difference between them. Like, when you tried like almost 100 of different languages, I don't know, I think throughout my career, like I tried a lot of them. It all becomes a blur. It's just like there's no languages anymore. It's just like one single language, but with just like a slightly different syntax. It's like, I don't give a shit. It's like, you guys can't even comprehend how less of a shit I give about languages. It's just like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, there's no words to actually explain how little I give a fuck about languages. It's like, it's all blur, it's all the same shit. It's like, it doesn't matter. It all doesn't fucking matter. Anyways, so we achieved what we wanted to achieve. So thank you so much, Coffee Before Code. 16 months, but probably will be last. Need to tighten the budget. Understandable. Perfectly understandable. The economy is fucked. So it's fine. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Don't even feel obligated. All right. So we achieved what we wanted to achieve. Thanks everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I see you all on the next recreation programming session with Mr. Azuzin. As usual, I love you. Mwah.